Und hallo und herzlich willkommen zurück bei Honkai Star Rail. Und wir machen weiter mit der 2.4 Version auf der Qianglufu, weil da unser neues Abenteuer begonnen hat. Und let's go.
Can I
So.
really reason with you Xianzhou people?
Hat vernünftig reden.
I
Was ist
think I
denn
get it
los?
now. In your words, this is called looting a burning house.
But I am trying to reason with that.
Was ist denn hier los?
Toxic voice sounds familiar.
Das geht schon,
Haven't I
kommt mir
heard it
bekannt vor,
before
habe
in
ich.
Aurum Alley?
You
Auch
know
nicht
what?
der, wa?
This isn't my first time dealing with the Skyfaring Commission. I
Ach,
can handle your unreasonable ways.
der.
But straight up snatching IPC cargo, isn't that going a bit too far?
Just as I've said it.
I'm hearing you loud and clear. I'm thinking clear. And my answer is crystal clear. Not a chance. Keep detaining my cargo and I'll file a complaint directly with your general. I was going to ask you the same thing. Why do I keep running into you? Staying
Tja,
on the Xianzhou, are you? What terrible luck. Wherever you go, disasters aren't far behind.
Katastrophen
From
nicht
the
weit.
Astral Express. What brings you and Yanqing to the Artisanship Commission?
Trouble caused by the IPC? I'd say it's caused by the Skyfaring Commission.
Looks like you've met this IPC worker before. I'm not sure if that's a good or a bad thing.
Schlecht.
I was sent here to deal with the IPC protest, Miss Shikwe. What's going on here?
As you know, this IPC transport ship was attacked by the Borisin and rescued by the Juming's diplomatic ship. Then the Cloud Knights were instructed to bring it back to the dock for repairs and inspections. And this is Mr. Scott, the person in charge of this transport ship.
So, you're Scott. I've heard her mention you. Weren't you kicked off the Lafu before?
Like I wanted to come back. I thought I'd just dock at the harbor for repairs and leave this forsaken place for good. Little did I know, as soon as the ship entered the harbor, a bunch of Cloud Knights showed up and snatched all our cargo from the hold.
What do you mean by snatched? I've told you a
Snatched.
million times. It's a security check.
Then why did you bring the cargo to the Artisanship Commission? You even brought in some shady craftsmen. It's obvious you're trying to steal the IPC's patented technology.
Listen here. Firstly, the Skyfaring Commission detected dangerous items that could possibly be weapons in your cargo hold. That's why they called me here, to double check. Secondly, where the heck did you get the idea that I'm a shady craftsman?
Even if there are dangerous items, what do they have to do with you? It's not even being shipped to the Lafu. We'll just fix the ship and be on our way. We won't unload our cargo here.
But you'll have to stay in the port for several days before your ship is repaired and you can take off again. How can we just...
I understand, but we don't need to disassemble the cargo if it's just a
In most cases, we don't. However, our scans discovered that the cargo doesn't only contain machinery, but also some substance that resembles
Biological tissue? Does this crate contain...
I'm afraid we'll need to wait for the Alchemy Commission for further confirmation. In any case, according to our regulations, we need to unseal one of the crates for further examination. But this IPC specialist has been hindering us on the grounds of...
The Alliance's regulations on biological products are very strict. Without further inspection, there is no way for the Skyfaring Commission to release the cargo.
Oh, really? Fine. If anyone lays a finger on that shipment, they'll have me to deal with. It doesn't matter if it's mechanical or biological. It's none of your business. I'm filing a complaint against the Skyfaring Commission's ridiculous regulation.
This Mr. Scott seems stubborn and difficult to persuade. Honestly, I really don't want to have... I heard how you helped R. O'Malley. The IPC representative back then was Mr. Scott, right? Since you've dealt with him before...
What are you guys whispering about over there? Just hurry up and give us back our cargo.
As I recall, this guy won't listen to reason and can only be persuaded with intimidation. But he does...
Speaking of regulations, we have our own laws and regulations, too. According to Article 4 of the CN...
Hey, everyone! Meet my old friend Scott. He's very talented.
Stop it! Let's focus on the business at hand. What's the point in trying...
Oh, you're amazing! Can you teach me? Which animal...
Just forget it. Even if we set aside the secrecy of intellectual property, the...
Your logic is too confusing for... I've got a brilliant idea. I'll just...
calm down. The General wants us to handle this peacefully.
So, this is the great idea you came up with?
Tschüss.
All right, that's enough. I thought you were reasonable and we've signed a confidential... Listen up, kid.
If that's the case,
Oh, really?
since you put it that...
Ah, not so...
I thought you were reasonable.
Stop him, guys! For the Amber Lord!
Für die Bernsteinfürsten.
Enemy targets detected.
Free will, or was it fate? Destined for oblivion. I weep for the departed. It too shall fall.
Alles weg.
Get up, all of you! Why is the IPC even paying you? You're a bunch of losers!
Just be grateful that that little brat showed you mercy. At least your staff. How do you IPC cronies have the audacity to fight?
Another one? Who...
I may be a bit late, but the good news is...
Where's Julian?
Allow me to
And-
introduce
oh, wow.
myself. I'm Ling Sha, Cauldron Master and
Ling
head
Sha.
of the Alchemy Commission on the Law Fu.
Could she be?
Yeah, she's the new Cauldron Master assigned here from the Xianzhou Zhuming.
I received a report from the Artisanship Commission about cargo containing samples of unknown organisms. It said they needed help from the Alchemy Commission. I had nothing better to do, so I came myself. It's fine, Mr. Scott. If you really don't want your cargo to be inspected, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter? How can you say that?
Why are you being so nice all of a sudden? Well, since you're not going to check...
Yeah, sure. Why should I object? Not only this sample, but all the goods on the transport ship are yours to keep. Like I said, we won't inspect them.
Wait a minute!
Well, that's more like it. If only our ship will leave in a few days once the engines are repaired.
Your ship can leave whenever you want. According to the import and export regulations, since we can't determine if your shipment is safe for the environment, normally it'll only take around 47.
Only 47 years?
Why so surprised?
Yeah,
You're still
I'm
young
surprised.
and full of energy. I'm pretty sure you'll live.
Ha! Typical of a long-life species. Your words are dripping with sarcasm. While you may not care about time, I do. I'll be demanding double compensation from the Skyfaring Commission for every minute wasted.
Sure thing, Mr. Scott. You seem pretty confident that your career and life will last long enough to witness this.
Step aside, guys. Let them do the inspection.
But, Mr. Scott...
Come on, we're already in enough trouble. Just let them do the security inspection. And if needed, I can always grovel before the Intelligentsia Guild later. I'm just using my head for what it's apparently good for.
Danke, Bruder.
Well, honestly, at least you're not as annoying as that woman. Bro, just do the inspection.
This lady is really something else. Is this the IPC product?
Listen up. Any damages caused by inspections will be filed with the IPC.
Turn it off. Oh, how unexpected. That was a surprise.
Nicht nochmal. Unbedingt.
Thanks for the support. Commencing research.
Free will, or was it destined for oblivion? I weep for the departed. It too shall fall.
Lance at the ready.
Specimen sighted.
On the still waters of oblivion.
Lance ablaze. Lance forward.
Enemy data net markers activated. Time for a good old counterattack.
I'm on guard.
Commencing research.
I weep for the departed.
Okay.
It too shall fall. Another journey begins. Destined for oblivion.
Were you seriously planning to leave this stuff unchecked at the dock for days? That's way too dangerous.
No.
I had no idea about it. You must have accidentally triggered the cargo's defense program.
So,
I don't think trying to shift the blame is a wise choice.
But seriously, I don't know why that thing suddenly started moving. I swear on the Amber Lord.
Enough. Miss Shikwe, please escort our IPC guest to the Skyfaring Commission.
na. Weg mit die.
Please follow me, Mr. Scott.
Gentlemen, our preliminary inspection shows that there is indeed hidden biological tissues inside. Just like the craftsman feared. I can't even tell if it's ingenium or biological in nature.
The core of this device is what they call wetware in industry slang. To put it simply, this machine operates.
I'll take some samples for the alchemist to analyze and figure out where the biological tissue comes from.
Why would the Intelligentsia Guild use such unethical technology? Perhaps they're trying to...
Whatever the reason is, it's probably why the Borison attacked the ship. No wonder the IPC were trying to obstruct our inspection. I'll contact the Ten Lords Commission and ask the judges to come and give their final verdict on this. According to our rules, all prisoners and weapons involving dangerous creatures must be taken to the shackling prison for further sentencing. After all, it's the safest place on the Luofu. As for you, Mr. Craftsman, please go with the Cloud Knights and explain the situation to the judge. I had a feeling that the IPC members would cause trouble, but I didn't think they'd be this tricky. Thanks for your help, Miss Lingsha.
I should thank you for saving my life. Your sword skills were impressive. Taking down that big guy. I thought the general's
ich hab ihn
retainers were all
besiegt, nicht
burly
der.
martial masters. I didn't expect Yenqing to be so...
Huh?
As for you, you must be the guests from the Astral Express, right? Saving the Luofu from that crisis. It's so impressive.
It wasn't a big deal.
It's still early. So why don't we get some tea at the Alchemy Commission? We can discuss your
Klar,
suggestions.
und gerne ein Tee.
I'd be happy to accept your invitation.
And you three are coming too, right?
Na klar.
I'm here to pay my
News is
respects.
spreading pretty fast.
All these years, and the view of the Alchemy Commission hasn't changed a bit. The tides come and go, but the ancient sea remains the same. For us Vidyadhara, there's nothing more nostalgic than our homeland.
You're a Luofu native, Miss Lingsha?
Yes, I grew up here, listening to the sound of waves while researching prescriptions with my mentors and peers at the Alchemy Commission. It's kind of sad, isn't it? Everything changes, but somehow remains familiar. Just like you, Don Hung, I traveled far from home, and now I've returned. Seeing the familiar scenery brings back a hint of...
The view here would be even better without the ambrosial arbor.
Oh, really? I think that towering tree looks pretty impressive.
Even if it's impressive, it's a plague mark. The Xianzhou have been fighting abominations for thousands of years. And now that the ambrosial arbor has been reborn, it's only natural for everyone to feel unease.
Well, once a seed is planted, no matter how long it takes, it'll eventually sprout and bear fruit. In my humble opinion, the rebirth of the ambrosial arbor and the resurgence of the disciples of Sanctus Medicus were inevitable. The seed was already planted when the ancestors of...
With a T.
My bad. Well, since you went through the entire Ambrosial Arbor crisis firsthand, Dan Heng and Lieutenant Yan Qing, I'd like to discuss something with you.
What would you like to discuss, Miss Linksha?
I was lucky enough to be chosen by the Alliance to come in and clean up all the old grime in the Alchemy Commission. Honestly, the Alchemy Commission is riddled with problems and has reached a point where fixing it seems impossible.
Well, even though I'm a Vidyadharan like you, I'm an outsider, just like my companions here. I can't really say much about a remedy, but I do have a piece of advice, Miss Lingsha. The Vidyadhara and the Alchemy Commission on the Luofu have always been intricately connected.
I may not know about politics, but I do know that the disciples of Sanctus Medicus have been operating within the Alchemy Commission for years. If you're
I see. Thank you for your... While the Lux Arrow from the Rainbow possesses unparalleled power to sever the Ambrosial Arbor, it can't sever mortals' desire to prolong their existence. Just like how the Cloud Knights can eliminate the remnants of the disciples of Sanctus Medicus, but are unable to calm the hearts and minds of the people within the Alchemy Commission. Our Xianzhou forebears knew this well, and that's why they entrusted the duty of guarding the roots of the Arbor to the Vidyadhara. How 30 years ago, my mentor served as Alchemy Commission's Cauldron Master. She recognized the emerging undercurrents and sought to cleanse the source. Unfortunately, even though she was skilled in the art of healing, she didn't understand the human heart or how to eliminate the sickness lurking within the depths of the alchemy. And guess who arbitrated the case and handed down the sentence? None other than General Jing Yuan himself.
What?
You heard it right. The ones responsible for the corruption in the Alchemy Commission are not just the remnants of the disciples of Sanctus Medicus, but even the Divine Foresight himself. Alas, why is your face turning pale, Yanqing? Don't worry about it. I understand that when someone holds a position of power, they may sometimes have to make tough decisions. I won't hold any personal grudges against him. Besides, at our age, holding personal grudges is a luxury we can't afford.
Lingsha, you're back! Ugh, I've been waiting ages for you.
Die schon wieder.
Yunli! Why aren't you with your grandpa? What brings you to the Alchemy Commission? Well, let me take this opportunity to introduce you to Yanqing.
What a small world.
Die Welt hat keine.
You stole my sword! Give it back!
Was, du hast doch schon ein Schwert doch zurück. Mann.
I see. Let's skip the introduction part then.
Why do I keep bumping into you? Are you stalking me or something?
Of course not. Unlike you, Miss Yunli, I have important things to take care of. You, on the other hand, seem to have all the time in the world to wander around without returning my sword.
Grandpa used to say that a sword reflects its master. I talked to your sword, and it told me that you've been distracted. You hesitate when you should strike, and you struggle to stay calm when your sword is unsheathed. Now that I see you again, I realize your sword was right. It wasn't me who took your sword. It was you who lost focus.
Do you really expect me to believe that nonsense? I've been taking it easy on you because you're a guest from the Juming, but you're not taking the hint.
Just look at this flying sword. Even if I gave it back to you now, it'd just be taken away again in a few hours. You know the Cloud Knight saying, a Cloud Knight must never let slip their weapon. Yes? Well, sure. I can give it back to you now, but on the battlefield, that's a whole different story.
Fine! You don't have to give it back, because I'll take it back myself!
Between these two, who do you think is tougher? Don't get me wrong, I'm just curious.
Get ready to separate them.
It is my first day at the Alchemy Commission. A brawl is definitely not how I imagined celebrating it.
Well, since you don't approve, I won't draw my sword here.
I didn't mean it in that way. Since you've already drawn your swords, you'd be disappointed if you didn't get to test one another, right? I've received reports that the delves near the Alchemy Commission are still infested with abominations. Seems like my predecessors left quite a mess. So, if you two want to determine who's better, why not focus on them instead of each other?
Clearing out some abominations? Sounds boring.
It's the Cloud Knight's duty to eliminate those abominations. You don't have to ask me twice, Miss Lingsha. I'll help you get rid of them.
Oh, you think you're the only one who knows how to behave? If Lingsha needs anything, I'll gladly draw my sword and help her out.
It's so heartwarming to see both of you being so sweet and caring. So then, shall we get going?
Gehen wir.
Ever since the disciples of Sanctus Medicus were eradicated, their experimental abominations have been festering here. If you want a contest, I'll be the referee. The one who kills the most abominations within an hour wins.
Lingsha, as always, you're still an expert in making
It's for your own good, little Yunli.
That's really thoughtful of you, Cauldron Master.
So, are you both ready? Looks like my predecessor. Let me say it again. The one who. Be careful when you draw your swords.
Can we?
Ja, wir kämpfen.
Blade and flight! To travel
Don't worry, it's just a scrape.
Enemy data secure. Net markers activated. Time for good old counterattack.
On the still waters of oblivion, I weep for the departed.
Ich roll mit hier auf. Lalalala.
I didn't expect someone who can't even hold on to a sword to actually have some skill. I think something hit me again.
Free will, or was it fate? Destined for oblivion.
How many can you block? Strike apart!
Enemy data secure. Net markers activated. Time for good old counterattack. You've got style with those moves, but you're not striking where it counts. It's such a shame to see you misuse your sword like that.
That's half the work. I weep for the departed.
Wir machen das wieder rückgängig hier.
Still waters.
Practice is over. Swords descend. To travel far. Thanks for the support. We have the upper hand. Time for swordplay. Blade and flight. Through clouds.
Destined for oblivion.
Enemy data secure. Net markers activate. Time for a good old counterattack. Ready for another?
Another journey begins. On the still waters of oblivion. I weep for the departed. It too shall fall.
How many can you block? Strike with heart. I win, Miss Yun Lee.
Edgy badge.
You got lucky.
Nee.
Why don't you just give me back my sword, sincerely apologize, and then go croc? Consider yourself lucky that I'm not interested in your rusty sword. As
All you did was chop down a few monsters. Don't get carried away with yourself. If you think you can just take this sword from my hand, go ahead and try.
Well fought, my young friends. However, both of you have shortcomings. One of you focuses on dodging and weaving, while the other relies on brute strength, trying to take down targets with a single strike.
Who are you?
Chips.
Me? I'm just a patient seeking medicine from the Alchemy Commission. A passerby, if you will. I thought I'd see my fill of impressive fights during the war dance. Yet here I am, able to witness a remarkable fight at the Alchemy Commission, of all places. Well, the law. However, I have a small suggestion for you. Why don't you settle this dispute fair and square in the war dances ring? That way, you can resolve your differences with a proper duel and put your grudges behind you.
grudges? No, not at all. Yun Li and I, we were just sparring.
Sparring.
Sparring? You summoned your flying swords, and she swung her sword with full strength. No grudges between you.
Aha! What brings you here, Lady Fei Xiao? Have you finished your health consultation with the Dragon Lady?
Fei Xiao? Grandpa always talks about you. Could it be
The Merlin's Claw of the Xianzhou Yao Qing?
Looks like I'm quite famous on the Sanzhou Lafu, too.
Of course, everyone has heard of the great general. Known to all, and unbeknown to none.
Great General? Isn't that title a bit too narcissistic? I don't like it. Ooh, I heard there's a dozing general on the Lafu, so I came up with a humble nickname for myself. The Lacking General. Lacking in worries, regrets, and rivals. Sounds much better, right?
Yeah, that's a befitting title that sounds both humble and impressive. Now that the sparring session is over, Yanqing and Yunli, shouldn't you politely thank General Fei Xiao for her guidance and bury the hatchet?
Here's your sword. Keep it safe. Or it might get taken away again. By the way, we haven't...
Tschüss.
This is how she apologizes? Now that I finally got my sword back, I should report to the seat of divine foresight. I'll take my leave, General Fei Xiao.
Geschrieben. 3 Generale. Meine Güte.
Oh, by the way, Miss Linksha, if you've got some free time, I'd like to invite you to the seat of divine foresight for a chat with General Jingyuan. I think there's more to those personal...
Thanks for stepping in, General Fei Xiao. Otherwise, I'd have had to knock them out with my incense.
Not at all. Just doing what you asked. How about we call it even as payment for the healer lady's consultation?
Sorry, but even a general needs to pay their bills. We don't do credit here. And let's not forget, you'd have been waiting decades for a chance to see the Dragon Lady if it weren't for me.
Well, you can always send the bill to the seat of divine foresight and say it's for mentoring those kids. After all, it was quite the effort splitting them up. I nearly had to get tough. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to find a spot and get some fresh air. Back already? You've met with Jing Yuan and wandered around for a few hours. So, what do you think?
It appears that the Divine Foresight is using this war dance as a show of strength to convince everyone that the Lafu is prospering after the Ambrosial Arbor crisis.
But... I know you're going to say but, right?
But the influx of people attending the war dance is like a breeding ground for disorder and rumors. One wrong move, and the Lafu could be in a world of chaos.
The Cloud Knights on the streets remain vigilant, so at the very least, General Jing Yuan is aware of this. As for other matters, I'm unable to say.
I'd prefer to be excused from future meetings with generals. I'm just a military healer. And now all of a sudden I'm thrust onto the center stage having cordial chats with two generals?
My work doesn't lend itself to being in the limelight either.
Just stop whining. At least you're in one piece, right? Before getting in touch with General Jing Yuan, I wanted to put aside my assumptions and see his momentum. That includes the overall bearing of the Cloud Knights on the street, what people are saying, and how those...
The might of an army dwells not within its pawns, but within the force of its collective momentum. Recognizing this fact reveals the true measure of power. Thanks for enlightening me, General.
A perfectly clear statement turned confusing thanks to your translation. You've made me lose where I was now. Anyway, this is how I operate in battle, so you might as well get used to it.
Are you treating General Jingyuan as your enemy?
The longest-serving general of the Xianzhou Luofu. Do you think he'd have only a few enemies?
By the way, General, you met the healer lady, yes? Could you show me the medicine she prescribed you?
Well, the healer lady couldn't do anything about my condition. She just told me to enjoy some tasty food.
So not even the famed healer lady could help? Don't worry. I'll fulfill my promise and find a way to cure you. Actually, I've found some leads.
Well, life and death, Zhao Chou. It's all predetermined. Upon starting my military career, I made a pledge that the rest of my life would be dedicated to being the Xianzhou spearhead, hunting down the abominations of abundance till the end of my days. As long as I can fulfill that deep-seated desire, I don't care how long I live. You asked if I view General Jingyuan as my enemy. No. My real enemy has always been myself.
Enjoy some tasty food. So, what's for dinner tonight?
Jeez. You really know how to read the room, don't you?
You guys figure it out for yourselves. I'm due to catch up with an old war friend I've not seen for quite a long time.
Was that the Yaoqing general who just dropped in out of nowhere? Oh, she's so... I mean, when Yun Li swung that massive sword, she just casually blocked her attack with ease.
Mine too.
Yeah. But to go up against Yun Li is quite impressive, you know. You think so too, right?
I agree. General Fei Xiao is...
I was actually hoping you'd give Yanqing some praise.
Thanks for the kind words, Miss March. The war dance is coming up, and I've been chosen to represent... I've had my fair share of defeats lately, and even though I know there are always more skilled...
Don't underestimate yourself. After all...
Unterschätze dich nicht.
Thanks.
I bet it's about how to deal with the generals from the Yaoqing and the Zhuming.
I really don't want to get caught up in grown-up games so soon. I just hope Generals Fei Xiao and Huaiyan can see the truth. We don't need any more chaos on the Luofu before the war dance.
Nice.
Gut, dann war es das hier für die Folge und man sieht sich nächste Woche wieder. Bis dann, ciao.